Thank you all, and thank you all for joining. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the Tactical Guide, Building and Running a PMO. And so we've got 6 agenda items we're going to go through today, so we've got tons and tons of content. We're going to talk about building a PMO. I think lots of you guys were with us for the first session, part 1, where we walked through building a PMO. We're going to jump into running a PMO. We'll talk about PMO reporting. We'll go into PMO day-to-day operations. Really, the meat of the presentation is that. We'll talk about some programs around PMO resources, and then we'll do a quick wrap-up, and, of course, we'll do questions and answers and that type of thing. So we've got tons of tons of content, and so we'll dive deep into that. So let's go. As I said, what I wanted to do is really step back briefly and talk about building a PMO. And so I think most of you were with us, or a lot of you were with us for the first seminar when we walked through building a PMO. And so what I wanted to do is just make sure we grounded on that and walk through those 12 steps. And so you may remember that. We said, hey, when we were building a PMO, there were 12 critical steps. We said start with a plan, attain executive support, create your PMO staples, select your 4 Ps of your PMO, which included your methodologies, portfolio, program, and project. Select your PMO models, which is controlling, directive. Create your PMO maturity model, which included your categories, your measurements. Obtain your resources. Select your PMO training. Implement those methodologies. Select your PMO reporting, select your tools and processes, and then finally your PMO is complete, and then you implement that. So that came directly out of my book, The Tactical Guide for Building a PMO, and we went very, very deep in that and deep into each of those 12 steps. And so I'll pause there briefly to allow you guys to either take a snapshot of that or write those down real quick, but that really sets the foundation, right? If you don't have those steps, really that's the foundation of building a solid PMO, and that's really what we're going to build off of today when you're running a PMO. So have these steps in place, and then we'll build off those today. I think a lot of you remember those steps. So did you apply those steps? Get it going. Because if not, I can just wait for an hour. You can go back and do those. Do that, right? But if you don't have that foundation in place, and if you don't have those models in place and the executive support, and you don't have the right resources, clearly you're not going to be able to run an efficient PMO. And so take the 12 steps very, very seriously. Make sure you're walking through those steps. They are in order. And so we want to make sure you get that foundation, get that set up, and make sure you walk through that going forward. So, again, we can contact me directly, walk you through those steps again, and get you those steps. But want to make sure you really stopped and made sure you had those in place. Excellent. Jump into running a PMO. And so running a PMO today is very, very difficult, right? It's a fast-paced environment. There's agile PMOs. There's PMOs in IT and marketing research. And really, how do you run a PMO today, right, across all the different environments? And so what I've done is I've really kind of simplified it, and I've put it into 4 big buckets and 4 big areas. And I've tried to make it quite simple. They are develop executive reports, develop PMO reports, so specific PMO reports, PMO day-to-day operations, right, run the PMO from a day-to-day perspective, and then PMO resources, both a mentoring and a buddy system. We talked about that briefly in building. We're going to more implement that in running. And I've implemented this all in my new book coming out, the PMO Lifecycle, Building, Running, and Shutting Down, and that'll be out in the next couple months. 4 main steps in running a PMO. Let's just give a look at that. Pretty easy, right? Pretty simple. Broken it down to 4 easy steps. Actually, it's quite difficult, and so when we walk through that, you'll see just how difficult that is, but I, again, tried to make it simple and breaking it down for you. To this, let's jump into executive reports. It's the first thing we want to dive into. And so this is going to be a wild card, right? Your executives can come up with some crazy ideas. They're going to want their own set of reports, but a proactive PMO manager will be on top of this. Right? A proactive PMO manager will be constantly working with their executives and constantly be driving what reports those executives need from your organization. Okay? One of the key components of running a successful PMO is keeping your executives happy, right? Regardless of what reports you get them, you want to keep them happy, but giving them a series of reports will help you do that. And they could be scorecards, they could be milestone calendars, they could be dashboards. Whatever the report is, you want to give the executives the reports they need to get the information they want to know how well your organization's running. Could be budget reports, could be dashboards, milestone scorecards, whatever the case may be, your executives are going to have their own sense of reports. And you're going to want to be on top of that. And being on top of that is a key to your success. I put together some reports I want to show you that I think would be a great starting point. The first is a PMO dashboard. I love this report. This is a report I've used for years. I strongly suggest you get this set up. Very simple, very easy. You've got your project IDs, you've got your names, you've got your 6 critical components, your health, your schedule, your scope, cost, quality, adoption, some notes about the project, you've got lots of colors, you've got the text, but your executives are going to zero in on the colors, they're going to look at the reds, look at the yellows, and they're going to know right at a glance where to zero in on. And it's simple. You put this on a SharePoint site, you put this in Excel, but you get a dashboard like this set up and get this going immediately for your organization. Your executives are going to love that access to those 6 components. How's the schedule? How's the health? How's the cost, right? These are the 6 things that most executives focus in on, and they're going to love the colors. So very clean, very easy to grasp where do we need to focus on, right? And so very, very quick and very easy to build, very easy to maintain, and something that you can get up very quickly up to your organization. So I strongly suggest you get a PMO dashboard set up immediately and get it in front of your executives. That's one report I get going right away. Report is a milestone report. Now, when you think about a milestone report, you say, hey, what are our major milestones for the methodology that we're using? So again, ID and name, we're constantly using that ID-name combination. And then we're seeing a lot of colors. We're seeing where we are across our phases, right? Very valuable to see exactly where the projects are. You see greens, you see yellows, you see reds. So again, you got that color combination. You could probably add a little text there. Now, what you're seeing is a waterfall version. Great, right? So this is a waterfall. How easy would it be to be able to put a sprint version, a sprint 1, sprint 2, or an agile version, or a construction, or a research, or a manufacturing? So regardless of the methodology that you're choosing to use, waterfall, agile, construction, whatever the case may be, a milestone calendar for executives is a great report, and it's a report that they're going to want to see and see exactly how the project's tracking, and or if the project hasn't started, you would add that too. But again, nice, easy, simple to use, simple to create, get it up on a SharePoint, get it into a shared environment so your executives can see very, very quickly this milestone report, and they can see where projects are tracking. So I love that report because, again, it's real simple to use. So regardless of the reports or the dashboards, but you have to be on top of this, right?